Every country approaches recycling differently. Some places have something called a single-stream recycling system where all recyclable material is collected together and sorted at a facility. Other cities may collect things separately, requiring you to sort your own recycling. And, of course, other places don't have any recycling programs at all. In Lithuania, I'm not sure how much variation exists between the recycling programs of various towns and cities, but I do know that the recycling of beverage containers appears to be quite standard nationwide. So today, let's look at the Taromatas system in Lithuania, which is the country's automated bottle deposit refund system. First, I want to say that I'll cover some background and general information before going into the system itself and how to use it. I'll end with some tips offered up by the YouTube community, which were provided after I asked earlier this year. So, most of Lithuania's beverage containers work on a deposit refund system. You buy a bottle of juice, a can of beer, and for each container, customers are charged 10 cents in addition to the price tag. This is a deposit, and to get your deposit back, you have to return that container. The Taromatas is Lithuania's way of efficiently and conveniently getting containers back and deposits refunded. This system officially came into effect on February 1st, 2016, and a December 2015 article by AINA.LT talked about how the Maxima supermarket chain was intensely training its employees so that they would be familiar enough with the system to offer assistance to members of the public. It is important for us to know the system well ourselves and to be ready to help, explain, and teach to answer all the questions that arise for our customers, said the manager of Maxima Lithuania at the time. Apparently, this type of system has been available in Sweden for many years now, and a March 2016 Delphi article talked about how the use of this Scandinavian system is something that Lithuania can benefit from, particularly in terms of waste management and material recovery. So, doing the math, it looks like this system has been in place for nearly 7 years now, and at least in Vilnius, it would seem that pretty much every single supermarket, big or small, has a Taromatas either inside of it or located outside in the parking lot. And for those new to Lithuania, you might be asking, how does this work? Well, first you need to make sure that whatever container you have is eligible to be accepted by the machine. So, first look for this symbol on the side. Generally speaking, containers of beer, cider, water, gira, and other non-alcoholic drinks are accepted. However, there is a plan to accept aluminum and plastic containers for wine, cocktails, cold coffee, and syrups starting in 2023. So next, head over to your supermarket of choice and find the Taromatas. Ideally, you want to choose the supermarket that you most often buy your groceries from. I'll explain why in a second. Once you find a functioning machine, you can just start putting eligible cans and bottles in. You could first press the English language button, but all of it is so simple and intuitive that you can probably survive with the default Lithuanian language setting too. You should insert all cans and bottles with the bottom first, especially bottles. With every container accepted, your total refund accumulates 10 cents at a time. When you're finished, just press the big green button and the machine will print out a paper ticket with the amount and a barcode. This little slip can be spent like money at the supermarket that issued it, or you can take it to the supermarket's customer service counter and get it converted to cash. So those are the basics of using the system, but here are some tips provided by the community. Number 1, don't leave the bottles with any type of liquid. Number 2, make sure the bottles and cans aren't flat or too crumpled, or the machine won't take them. Number 3, check where the Taromatas is before you take a big bag full of bottles to the store and spend 20 minutes looking for it outside, only to realize that it's inside for some reason. Adding to this, someone else says that the Taromatas is usually in a remote location, outside and sometimes even detached from the building, or in the underground car park. Number 4, bottles with a missing label may be refused because they cannot be identified. Number 5, foreign bottles are not accepted. Number 6, if a brewery goes out of business, you'll lose the deposit for any bottles you still have from that brand. And finally, number 7, with some machines, you can donate the deposit to charity rather than having it paid out. Simply select Aukoti, which means donate, instead of Ishmoka, which means payout. I'll add my bonus tip and say that you should plan your trip carefully or else potentially spend a lot of time waiting in line. There's nothing worse than showing up and being stuck behind an old couple that has 3 big garbage bags full of containers that they've been collecting for the past few months. So find out the quietest times for your local supermarket and try to go then. I think this system has gone a long way in ensuring containers are recycled and not thrown away as trash. It probably also helps reduce litter on the streets, since these items might be quickly picked up by someone who has a few minutes to spare for a quick 10 cents. At least when I was living in Canada, my local system was based on deposits and refunds, but places where someone could go to exchange their cans and bottles was more difficult to find and far less convenient. And at the same time, I'm shocked that this system doesn't yet exist in the UK or Ireland, although I believe it will be introduced to Ireland very shortly. Well, that's it for my random video on the Lithuanian Taromatas. I never expected to be able to produce an extended video on the topic, but I guess there's more to say about it than I imagined. So what is can and bottle recycling like where you live? Is it similar or very different? Let me know by leaving a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.